Hey everybody, this is the slightest review. I don't know what to say about this show no more. I'm seriously about to rage quit this show because it's once again it's very inconsistent and it's confusing the crap out of me. Titans is confusing the literal crap out of me to where the tone is all over the place and some characters appear and some don't. And then you realize, wait, this is what's really been going on with Jason and stuff. And to give credit where credit due, there was some nice emotional stuff in this episode at one point, but it contradicts what we know about Bruce and stuff like that from that first episode. So, and then a couple of other episodes. So it's kind of like I'm not really digging this emotional scene because we know how Bruce really is. But the writing is just it's not okay. The show is not like like terrible, but it is a little bad. And I don't like bad writing. See, I am allergic to bad writing. Achoo! And I don't like sneezing and coughing all the time. And it really pains me to have to be ill from bad writing. See, this episode is confusing me. We find out why Jason, for the most part, has been doing why he's doing some of this like terrible stuff. But we don't get like a true explanation. They're kind of like dragging it. Basically, it was Scarecrow all along. Jonathan Crane, the dude who's constantly smoking pot. The dude who the actor got Me Too'd and he had to been followed around the set to make sure he wouldn't do anything bad because he got in trouble twice. And it's just like him? It's like an Agatha moment from like WandaVision. It was literally Scarecrow all along. And I'm just like, when did this dude turn into a mastermind? And there's just some things in this episode that are mind-boggling because they're trying to be clever and they're trying to respect the comic book, but it's just like you're not going to be able to respect the comic book because you already changed the origin. But it's confusing. It's so confusing. I don't get this. But basically, none of the Titans show up in this episode. It's just a Jason Todd episode. Now, the first thing that confuses me is that in the first episode of this season, they said it's been 9 months since season 2 to season 3. Now we find out it's not 9 months, it's 3 months. So 3 months afterwards, we see Jason, and he's having like some trouble still adjusting to being Robin again after being nearly thrown out that window and dying. He still fears stuff and it's affecting him in the field as Robin. And it's to the point where Bruce tells him, as of right now, you're no longer Robin until you talk to a counselor, talk to Leslie Tompkins because she helped me and she can help you, and you're not going to be Robin until she says, until like I get the okay from like her. Now, here's one part that's a little bit confusing. At the end of season 2, Jason literally said he's done being Robin, he's done working with Bruce, he's done with the Titans, he's done with Slade's daughter Rose, and he's gonna do his own thing. But like I said before, we see him still living with Bruce, still being Robin, so I guess he was just talking out his mouth, talking out his butt. And so we see that for the most part in those 3 months, because apparently it's been 3 months and not 9. So apparently in those 3 months, he has a new love interest, a girl. I forget her name. She's playing a teenager in this show. She is no teenager in real life. But I am happy to see this actress because we get to see Leslie Tompkins on this show because Bruce said, she's a dear friend, and as we all know, Leslie Tompkins in every incarnation and in the comic book, she knows who the Bat family is, and she helped Bruce when he was a little child. Leslie is supposed to be a lot older than Bruce. She's literally the age of Alfred, and she was friends with Bruce's dad. They are doctors together. And so she knows all the pain that Bruce has gone through and has helped him over the years, especially when he was younger. But in this incarnation, it's the same except for her age. She's younger, a lot younger. She's kind of like the age of the woman on Gotham, or so it appears to be. I looked the actress up. She's in her 50s. Doesn't look it, but she is. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, when this Bruce Wayne lost his parents, obviously, I assumed he didn't talk to this woman. Well, maybe he did. But I don't know how old Ian Glenn is. I forgot. He might be in his 50s, might be in his 60s. So if he did talk to her, they talked to us like little kids and stuff. And I'm just thinking to myself, because at first I didn't know her age, and they don't say her age on the show. But when you look the actress up, that don't necessarily mean nothing, because the actress who plays that girl who Jason knows, she's a lot older than a teen. So, yeah. So she could be like a younger version of Leslie Tompkins. So I'm thinking to myself, so when Bruce was a grown man, he still couldn't, I know Bruce can never shake his parents' death, but he decided to talk to a counselor and reveal like everything to her and all this other stuff, excuse me, as like a grown man and as instead of a child. And it's just like, why can't they make these kids like, why are they gonna make Bruce so old but not make Leslie Tompkins' appearance be old? You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of like, I don't get that. It's kind of like the Aunt May in the MCU Spider-Man thing. She's so young. It's like, why don't they just cast an old person? You know what I'm saying? And so she's talking to Jason and she's helping him, but he's being his little like jerkish self. But then he sees a picture of Jonathan Crane in her office. They used to be colleagues until she found out who he really was. And then he tried to kill her, and when she tried to like rat him out to the police and stuff. So she has ties to Crane, and he does not like her at all. And so, like, Jason has like an idea now. What better to eliminate fear than the master of fear himself? So that's, of course, where Jason got those chemicals from in the first episode, and that stuff he's been inhaling to make him not be afraid. Let's put a pin in that for a little bit later. Now, there is a heartfelt moment between Bruce and Jason where Bruce takes him to Crime Alley and shows him where his parents got murdered. Now, I gotta say, for Gotham, this Gotham is pretty clean. Like, I would assume Crime Alley would have looked it a little bit grotesque like it did in Batman the Animated Series. But this Gotham is a little bit cleaner. And they still got that stupid blue, like, filter tint thing. Like, take that crap off your show. It's not helping nothing, especially in the daytime. So he takes him to Crime Alley and tells him how, like, when he lost his parents, it was, like, really tragic. And the stuff that Jason is going through, it hurts him too bad because he literally calls him his son, and that he wants the best for him. He's all, I trained you the way I did because, and this and that, but, I can see it's just not working out, and I no longer want you to be Robin. And Jason, of course, is upset. He doesn't want to stop being Robin. But Bruce is all like, I love you, son, and everything. I just can't lose you like I lost my parents. It was a touching scene until I remembered the first episode. This Bruce, if he cares about Jason so much as his son, doesn't want to see him die, then why would he recruit or try to recruit new people to take on the Robin mantle? Therefore, he has not changed. He literally told Dick that he can't help but to have a partner in the street when fighting crime. He can't. Like, he just has to have one. So this scene doesn't really matter in my mind because it's like we know who this version of Bruce is. This version of Bruce will literally recruit a young person and he'll feel sad, but he doesn't care. And once they leave him or die, he'll just recruit another person. And so he doesn't care about their well-being. So therefore, he really doesn't care about Jason's well-being. he just wants to make this makeshift family. But like Dick has said before, he puts these people in dangerous situations and stuff. And so, like, what also is a little bit contradicts a little bit and a little conflicting is kind of like, okay, so he doesn't want Jason to be Robin no more, but he's recruiting new people to be Robin. He's scoping them out. When did he scope them out? This is before Jason died, and this is so it had to been when Jason was freaking out over the fear thing. He's like, screw you, I'm gonna replace you. So he started scoping out new people. That's not love. Now, it's time to get into the Agatha of the show, Jonathan Crane. Because, okay, in this episode first started off, we see Jason and Crane in the woods because Jason got him away from Nightwing and stuff. Now, they're still in the woods, and when they're there, Jason is panting. He's all like, man, Dick is never going to let up. He's going to keep pursuing us and stuff, and especially after what happened to Hank. But he said, I'm just like, wait a minute. So is he having like a remorse type feeling? Like something's going on here. And then we see, of course, Mr. Pothead taking out a huge blunt and just start smoking it. And then he's giving Jason orders. I'm like, wait, hold up. Is this dude the mastermind? So then, that's flashback at the 3 months. And Jason goes to Arkham because he wants to talk to Jonathan Crane about getting rid of his fear. Now, here's the thing that's bugging me about this. When Jason tried to stop that one dude who works for the Joker, and when he goes to Arkham, he does it in his civilian clothes, not as Robin. This is pissing me off. I'm tired of seeing them in their everyday clothes. When he confronted that man, he should have done it at night, dressed as Robin. When he went to Arkham Asylum, he should have dressed as Robin. So he goes there and he talks to Jonathan Crane. First things first, how was he able just to walk in there and start talking to the dude? Because Arkham is a prison / mental ward for the criminally insane, for people like the Joker and stuff, and people like Two-Face. So it's kind of like, how in the world was he able just to stroll in there and get asked to talk to a master criminal, a super villain of all things? What kind of security do they have there? And so he's talking to him. And so he shows Crane a vial of the fear toxin. And so like Crane within seconds is all like, well, I know who has that particular vial, that canister. It's Batman. And if Batman has it in his vault, you must have special access to the Batcave, which means you must be Robin. And seeing how you're Jason Todd and Batman has taken you in and adopted you, then Bruce Wayne must be Batman. Within seconds, he just like figures it out. Like, how do we know that Batman, I don't know, they just didn't take it into the field or gave it back to the cops, and then, you know, Jason is the son of a cop, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, he figures out who's who and stuff like that. Like within seconds, this dude's like, they making him be like a huge mastermind. And so Jason's all like, oh, you know, I don't want to fear no more, blah, 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 blah. And he's all like, fine, I'll help you, but you gotta bust me out of jail, or Arkham, or whatever you call it. And so he teaches Robin how to make his fear toxin and how to eliminate fear. First things first, where are the security cameras in Arkham Asylum? Where are the microphones? This dude is literally giving him the formula to a very potent drug, and nobody is monitoring this stuff. I'm just like, the writing can't be this bad. It can't be that, like, can it? Like, where's the cameras and stuff? Where's the security? And so anyway, Jason is constantly making the concoction. And he's testing it on himself and realizes, okay, it's not working. He keeps doing it over and over and over and over again. And he finally figures it out. And when he figures it out, he goes back to Crane and he tells him straight up, there's something off with this chemical and everything. He's like, yeah, but don't worry about that right now. So anyway, he's all like, it's time for you to test out this chemical. And you have to test it out on the person that you fear or something like that. So you gotta find somebody really dangerous. And of course, that's the Joker. Now we cut to that. There's nothing. So then it cuts to like the first episode. Now, I forgot to mention it. After Jason had his freak out, and before he went to go talk to that girl, he was laying in bed. And Donna Troy appears. I think that's her name. I'm not, okay, Diana Troy is from Star Trek. Okay, Donna Troy, Wonder Girl. She shows up in this weird, ominous, ghostly type, ghouly state. She's wearing an all-black dress, and she's talking to Jason. She's like, "Don't." I think she says like, "Don't do it," or something. She's calling out to him. And I think she said something like, "Don't do it," or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, what the world is going on? Why is she appearing now? You have to remember, last time we saw her in season 2, she died. She got electrocuted. And then Raven said she's going to go to Themyscira with the Amazons who dress like businesswomen because they have no budget. And she's going to find a way to resurrect Donna from the dead. Nobody tries to stop her. Now, we don't know what Raven's been doing because we're about, what, 4 episodes in? And we haven't even seen, no, we're 5 episodes in? We gotta be 5 episodes in, because the first 3, okay, then Hank died, then that Nightwing episode where he beats up on Jason, that's the 4th. Okay, we're 5 episodes in, and we haven't seen Raven yet, so we don't know what she's doing. But somehow, this dreamlike state ghouly thing had to have been as a result of her, because we know her power was out of whack in season 2. And so, I'm curious to see how Raven's gonna play into this season. You know, I've been saying, I think since the first episode, it would have made more sense if Raven is controlling his mind because her powers are out of whack. That would have been a little bit more believable than Jonathan Crane. Yeah, no other Titans showed up in this thing. Man, I really thought, because it was so weird. I feel bad for the actress who plays Starfire. People all assume that she would have her big day on this show because this 3rd season was supposed to be about her and her sister coming, and we assumed it was going to be an alien invasion because the 1st season dealt with Raven and her dad, the 2nd one dealt with Deathstroke and Nightwing, and we assumed this was going to deal with, Corey and her sister. But no, they threw in the whole Jason Todd thing to give Nightwing some more airtime. And I'm just like, that one episode we did have a Starfire and her sister was just lame. And I'm just like, what is this show doing? It has such bad writing. And it's like, I don't want to sound like a negative person who's always ripping on this show, but everybody knows this show is not good. This show has not improved. I wish people would stop saying that. It still has that stupid blue filter. They don't know what tone they want for this show. The writing is just weird. And the Titans haven't done much of anything in 5 stinking episodes. The Titans, for the most part, have only showed up in 2 episodes, and it's been brief. It's been focusing on Jason Todd, the Red Hood, and Dick Grayson, Nightwing. Don't even call this show Titans no more. It's not about the Titans. So it's a big recap of him telling Bruce that, he found the Joker. Now, Bruce is on the plane. Bruce has went to London and everything and has left Jason there. If he was so concerned about Jason, he would have forced him to go with him or locked up the bat suit and all the bat cave itself, but he didn't. Jason literally has access to everything. So Jason finds the Joker. The Joker beats him to death with the crowbar. It turns out Jason did die from the hands of the Joker. He did not fake his death. When we see Jason's face, it's literally busted and ripped open. And I'm like, whoa, man, like Joker really went like a number on him and literally killed him. This is the part where my allergies are coming back from the bad writing. So they're trying to live up to the comic book what this is based off of. Now, we know in previous episodes that Nightwing and Barbara found out that Jonathan Crane or Jason, or technically Jason, he bribed an orderly and everything. That's when they thought he faked his death. They don't know none of this stuff is going on from this flashback. It turns out it was not Jason that bribed the orderly. It was Crane. It also turns out that Jonathan Crane, wait for it, has access to a Lazarus pit. That is what this episode is called, Lazarus. And I've been wondering, why is this episode called this? And there's no Ra's al Ghul we've seen yet, and there's no Lazarus pit. But oh, hey, wait, there's the Lazarus pit. They're in some kind of weird abandoned place. The orderly literally took Jason's body, took him to this abandoned place, and there is Jonathan Crane, who has busted out of Arkham somehow, and is in this facility with the Lazarus pit. Oh, but it turns out Jonathan didn't leave Arkham. Oh, no, 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 no. The Lazarus pit is in Arkham. Jonathan explains to Jason that Ra's al Ghul left behind one of his Lazarus pit that even Bruce Wayne doesn't even know about. And okay, that makes sense. In the comic books and TV shows, there are tons of Lazarus pits all around the world, and Batman literally doesn't know about them. But he's trying to shut them all down. So this is one of them. So at some point in time, Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, however you want to say it, installed a Lazarus pit somewhere deep into Arkham when nobody knows about. But somehow, Jonathan Crane found out when nobody else knows. I'm just like, what? Now, they could have left the whole Lazarus pit thing out. They could have left out the whole Jason dying thing out. And so when Jason goes in there, he gets resurrected. But he doesn't freak out the way a person normally does when they get resurrected by the pit. He's freaking out in the whole, like, whoa, what's going on? Why am I naked? Why am I here with a Joker? Like, he freaks out like that. But he's not freaking out. So the Lazarus pit didn't have no effect on his brain, like, you know, how it did in the comics and everything else. So then you're wondering, well, how exactly did Jason, why is he taking orders from Crane? Why is he doing all this stuff? And so I'm just still baffled that Jonathan Crane knows about this Lazarus pit in Arkham. That's just the dumbest writing I've ever seen. It's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you're not going to do a true Death in the Family storyline and under the Red Hood, then you just adapt your own thing. And that's what they were doing in the beginning. They were adapting their own thing. Now they're trying to chime into the comic books, and it's just like, it's weird. It makes no sense. It makes no sense how nobody knew about this but him. So then Jonathan said, I've cooked you up something special. He's perfected his little fear toxin crap. And he gives it to Jason. Jason doesn't want to take it. He's all like, look, dude, I didn't bring you back alive to just kill you. Now, this is the part where I said the tone is all over the place. All of a sudden, Jonathan Crane takes out one of them old time like radio stereo things with them giant record discs and them pin needles and stuff. And he just starts dancing. He's dancing pretty badly too. And he's dancing, he's smoking pot. And I'm just like, why is he dancing in this episode? Why is he dancing in this show? This is not the tone of this show. This show has marked itself as a dark, gritty show. And now all this humorous Sam Rockwell dancing type stuff is literally going on. That's what I got vibes from Sam Rockwell. Remember when he was in Charlie's Angels and he just started dancing everywhere? That's that. Remember when he was in Iron Man 2 and he just started dancing for no reason? This is literally what Jonathan Crane is doing. Now, it made sense for Sam to do it in Iron Man 2 because that show had humor in it and stuff. It wasn't just dark and gritty. But it doesn't fit well with this show. It's like they're trying to please the fans, but it's just not working in my opinion. And so when he gives Jason this new toxin, I'm assuming Crane put something in there that makes Jason more compliant and makes him take his orders. So then, oh, it's not Jason who comes up with the Red Hood persona. It's Jonathan Crane. And so Jonathan Crane is the one who made him into Red Hood. He's talking about, you have now been reborn and everything. And you will, and the plan is to wreak Gotham in chaos with fear. And then those two swoop in and save the day, making the Red Hood look like their hero type dude. And so he said, time for you to suit up. Now, and they suit up there. Now, or they suit up at the facility Jason rented out to make the chemicals. It couldn't be the apartment because Jonathan was still in Arkham at that time. It was Dick who busted him out. So this must be all taking place in Arkham. So that means somehow, Jonathan Crane had access to building a suit for Red Hood, a suit in the style that Batman would make a suit with the plated rubber armor and stuff like that. And somehow he had access to like these really cool tricked out guns and stuff, and access to making like a Red Hood. And I'm just like, how the heck did Jonathan Crane do all this stuff? Now I would assume maybe Jason made his own suit because he has access to Bruce's stuff and that one Taylor dude. But no, it's Jonathan Crane. This dopey, bearded, pot-smoking person. And he sends Jason off in the street. And Jason finds Diego, the boy who got kidnapped by that one dude who the Joker friend kidnapped. And he straight up beats the snot out of the Joker's friend. And he does it, and then there's a nice callback to the first Batman movie, the Tim Burton one, where he's all like, "I want you to tell all your friends about me." And the criminal dude's like, "Who are you?" And then I forgot what he says, but he doesn't say the Red Hood. I think he said he'll tell him himself, and then like he just knocks the dude out or kills him or something like that. So then he brings Diego to that girl, and he literally straight up tells him, "Hey, you never have to fear me." And she's all like, "Jason, is that you?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, but don't worry, I'm finna clean up town and everything." And I'm just like, that's it. No Titans in this episode, just a flashback episode to see how Jason became the Red Hood and everything, and he didn't fake his death. It was Jonathan Crane all along. This is what you give us. And I understand they want to have like a nice quiet episode, like a flashback episode, but and I did say this show was emotionless before, and then they did show us the emotion, but I'm just not feeling it. This Bruce Wayne is not an emotional person. He literally recruits new people as soon as the other ones start to go astray. And it's like, it was Jonathan Crane all along. What the world? What the living... Him, the Scarecrow. Yeah, he's a psychiatrist. How is he a mastermind? What is he using to control Jason's mind and stuff? What? How did he get that rubber suit and all this other cool stuff and high-tech gear? But I did leave something out. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.